welcome,
yeah.
welcome everyone to our first Global Chamber Spain and Portugal meetup. I'm Cesar Trabanco from the Global Chamber, and I have the pleasure to be working today with our team in Spain, Yuka Nakasone from Global Chamber Barcelona, and René van Baardewijk, also from Global Chamber Barcelona, and we have Rafael Ferruz in Global Chamber Madrid, and a member is invited today to speak a little bit about his experiences, Stephen Earls. So thanks in advance, Stephen. And I would like to pass it over to Yuka, who's going to be giving us a presentation about the new startup law in Spain, accompanied by Rafael, who will be adding to that. So thank you very much, Yuka, for taking over.
Thank you very much for your introduction. And it's kind of a celebration because we are going to kick off Global Chamber Iberia along with Global Chamber Barcelona. And we are here, but we are not very active. So we hope that this is going to be the first meeting of many to come, and very active period of our Global Chamber tribe in Iberian Peninsula. And because we are not speaking the same language, Spanish and Portuguese, so we chose to speak in English. But if anybody has any questions, just stop and we explain or we say things in different ways, so different language, so that everybody can understand. That's the purpose of this meeting. My name is Yuka Nakasone. I'm the founder of Global Bridge, which is a consultancy company in Barcelona. I have this company for about 15 years, but I'm in this region of Spain for 23 years now. I lived in Madrid for about 4 years, so in total, 30 years, but nearly more than 25 years in Spain. So that's me. And what I do is help companies to go global, stay global, and thrive global. I'm Japanese, living in Spain. And today, I first like to introduce, let me share the screen. Maybe this one. Do you see the presentation? Yes?
Yeah,
yes.
it's live.
So, as Cesar already talked about, we have Lisbon. I mean, Stephen is in Port, but Lisbon, Madrid, Zaragoza is where Rafael is, and Malaga, where maybe a member later on, and René and myself are in Barcelona region. So that's Global Chamber Iberia for the moment. And if we talk about these cities, for example, Barcelona and Madrid are top 10 in the most livable cities in the world, very livable cities. And if we talk about startup concentration, Lisbon, Barcelona, Madrid are competing against each other on the top ranking of startup concentration, attractive cities in Europe. So that's us. And that's another reason why we can talk about the startup law and digital nomad law. What this means is, I think this is a new era of let's say, the beginning of a new era, because the pandemic pushed digitization, we start to live in a new way, very hybrid and much more digital. That's the reason why the government started to see the flow in the, let's say, the laws and regulations that we are now, we were before using. And that's the reason why Spanish government wanted to put this new law. They started to put together last year at the beginning. By them, at that time, it was completely new. Portugal, of course, went ahead and released, I think, digital nomad law in October last year. But when they started, Spanish government started to put together this law, it was a very innovative initiative. Nobody was doing that. And if you see the press, you see the startup law, the digital nomad law, and you kind of think that there are many laws, but it's just one law. Just one moment. It's just one law that is very comprehensive. It's very comprehensive and really taking care of people and businesses and investors to move forward the country and regions. So that's what it is. As I explained, the pandemic pushed us to live our lives in a new way. Workplace and home are coming together. I mean, we all worked from home, right? And school and home are getting closer. Like our kids studied at home. And travel and living are coming closer as well. So that's a new way of living, and new challenges in business is constant innovation, because the pace of innovation just went up, and talent acquisition is very, very difficult for different reasons, because there are so many new things that we have to acquire people who know these new things. And at the same time, the workers are more conscious about what they want. They want to work from where they want to work, or they want to get the conditions, economic conditions, or other conditions in their terms. So talent acquisition is a headache for businesses right now. And of course, when it's digital, it's global. So businesses are facing unprecedented challenges right now, and the country is trying to solve it, trying to help this by taking care of people and businesses. And so this idea of new startup law, digital nomad law, is created to, the purpose is to facilitate international movement beyond the EU, to facilitate the talent acquisition, facilitate the money movement, investment coming in, and businesses, I mean, entrepreneurs, innovative entrepreneurs and innovators come to the country and the cities. The Startup Digital Nomad Law is just one law, Ley 28, 2022, Ley 28, 2022. And its innovative aspect is really comprehensive, like I said, taking care of business owners, investors, and workers. And workers means both international employees and international remote workers. And more of this is that this is so comprehensive that they contemplate both immigratory and fiscal aspects of these movements. When I was in the conference last week, the lawyers were explaining, that's not me, lawyers were explaining that this comprehensiveness is not in the Portuguese law. This is what they said. So this is really innovative law in the world, let's say. And moreover, what they try to do is move things quickly. If you live in Spain or Portugal, maybe you know that one of the good things about living in Portugal or Spain is the rhythm of life. I mean, sometimes it's a little slow, let's say, hasta mañana, and the paperwork takes months and months. And that is contemplated in this law. For example, qualifications for a startup to be done in 10 days. It is written in the law. And if they don't hear from the organization after 2 months, it's a yes. And visa application is as well sped up. So they are really contemplating how we can move quickly as well. As I said, like this law is going to contemplate both startups. I mean, no, 3 aspects: investors, startups. Startups means innovative new companies, emerging companies, and workers. And after me, Rafael is going to talk about this startup space because he's a lawyer. So he knows laws and he knows terms. So he's going to explain about the startup part, but I want to just quickly talk about digital nomad side in this law. The law is innovation of Ley 14/2013, meaning Law 14/2013, and it was contemplating international movement of investors, business owners, entrepreneurs, highly qualified professionals, researchers, employees. And now, in this new law, they added international remote workers. This is the new aspect. That's the reason why one of the nickname is the digital nomad law. Okay? And what's the qualification, what's the character of international remote workers that is within this law is it opened up beyond the EU, meaning we can invite people from the world, not just EU. Even if they are not from EU, they can come and live and work as a freelancer in Spain. But they have to kind of prove that they exclusively work remotely, meaning that you can't do client visit during your remote work, which is not remote work. So your clients needs to be accepting the digital deliveries, digital work, digital meetings, and everything should be digital. And for freelancers, 20% of clients needs to be Spanish national companies. But for the employees, they can be a foreign country. So for example, a UK worker working for a multinational from the States in London, they can decide to come here and apply for the visa, not including the company, but from them, from as a worker to work from Spain. So that's a law. And requirements of being qualified to apply for this kind of visa contemplated in this law is both worker and company needs to be existed already there more than 1 year, and then they can prove in documentation that their work can be done all digital, and these workers and company or clients has to have 3 months of relationships. Then they have to prove that economic resources to live in Spain, meaning that their revenue projection should be double of the minimum salary of here, something like that. So that's the law. That's a requirement. And as I said before, this law is contemplating both migratory and fiscal, meaning it is talking about the visa part. And of course, there's a benefit of applying for this this position, because they, for example, employees that getting lots of money in foreign countries, maybe they can be paying here less than normal worker here is paying their percentage, and there's advantage. So that's it. That's my presentation, and I hope you kind of get the sense what it is, and that's it. Is there any questions? Or was it interest? I don't know. Yeah. So anyways, if nobody has any questions, I'm going to pass it to Rafael, who is going to talk about the startup part of the same role. Rafael?
Thank you very much, Yuka. To be honest, now that you've just covered almost the entire law, I guess we can end here. No? So only joking, only joking. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, Yuka, for your presentation, and moreover, Doug and Cesar for putting us in the same way, and of course all of you here for attending this event. As Yuka said, my name is Rafael Ferruz. I'm a lawyer, born and raised in Spain, in Zaragoza and Madrid. And well, as Yuka said, I'd like to apologize because due to net problems, I wasn't being able to initiate video, because it would drive us all insane. So no, I'm going to try mainly one last time. That's me. But if I see this it doesn't work and it is getting some problems, I just close it for you not to try get mad. As Yuka said, I'm gonna share with you a small presentation. Let me know the moment you can see it, please. Okay.
We can see now, Rafael. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much. Well, here, nowadays we're talking, as Yuka said, as a cross metro meetup, and we'd like to speak about Iberia in this case, Global Chamber Iberia, which actually we've been tracking what has been the evolution of all the companies and how is nowadays working all the economic market and the economic environment. So something really important in this case is the evolution of all the digital companies. I wanted to post you here the complete name of the afterwards named as a startup law. It's, as Yuka said, law 28/2022 from 21st December, about promoting the environment of emerging companies. This law is working, and I'd say it's happening worldwide. There are some pillars which must be taken into account. They are the attraction of talent, the investors, and moreover, somebody who can use that tools into creating something, the entrepreneurs. So as you all know, due to the COVID pandemic, we've been testing and we've been trying to focus more and establish a smaller frontier from where do we live and where do we work. If we can do this on a digital basis, we can put together and overcome one of our main problems with family, which is we're actually outside working for almost half of our life. So nowadays, the Spanish government has created a new law. This law has 4 main objectives, which you can see here. It is as everybody is trying to create some ways to minimize traveling, minimize the face-to-face working, and nowadays that everybody is born with computer under his arm. This is an expression we usually use in Spain. No, we needed to regulate and to come to a common stage where we can put all this together into our society. So we need to attract both the talent, which is moving worldwide with all the globalization movements that every country is performing, and if there's so much movement, we need investment for this, for all of these people. So one of the key things that I'll talk to you about in a couple of minutes is the effect that the government is trying to create on universities. What would happen if we put together and close the distance between companies and work market and our academic stage of life, universities, or excuse me, or working training. And above all, we need to create a network, actually a digital network, to bring this all together. So in this point is which entities, which companies is this law created for? As you can see, they are really early companies. The requisites they need are actually, on one hand, being just created or being really recent. They need to be innovative. They need to be a new idea, actually a risky idea. Why do I say this? Because, well, if we all know, for example, Microsoft, in Spain, they couldn't get as a part of a division, they couldn't become a startup because they already a really big company working globally, which doesn't need what this law is intended to. They need to put all the effort on creating a product to be exposed in the market and to be accepted by the market. As most of the laws that are passed, it is actually intended to be working or with Spanish and foreign companies, but based in Spain, inside the territory of Spain, and most of them, which comes into relation with what Yuka just explained to you all, most of the employees need to be under the Spanish regulation. It covers for 60% of the employees, which opens the way for all these digital nomads and international remote workers. So with all these bases, as I said, we come in a circle. They need to be working on something new, something as entrepreneurs, something which is high risk, high reward. They need to, well, I've always thought they would be called like dreamers in a few days past. So with all these framework established, what are we now taking into account is in which moment will they be stopped to be considered a startup? So one of these points is obviously what I've just explained to you, which are the requisites, but on the other side, they don't accomplish these requisites, so they cannot be called a startup law. Obviously, if the company dies, finishes its object, or can no longer keep working, they obviously will get extinct and cannot be afforded and supported by any law. On the other hand, as I used as an example, Microsoft gets and absorbs one of these small companies. They can no longer be startups because they have all the infrastructure that Microsoft has, and it's gonna support all their working. Then the next one for the reasons or circumstances that doesn't allow them to be under the umbrella of this new startup law is quite surprisingly, since it talks about the environmental damage, which on this point that we've been trying to get all the protection we can for this for example, in the European Union, the limits, the frontiers 2035, this 15 years plan. So if you're against that idea, you cannot be covered. This opens a new way of thinking, which is, despite our technological improvement, our dynamics, we need to preserve what was here before us. So actually, unless you're working with that, it is really difficult that the governments, talking about Spain, talking about Spain, it is really difficult that they will support and help you. Finally, one of the states that all the laws, all the company laws in Spain are trying to minimize and actually are attacking those company owners, those partners, those shareholders that are not contributing to the tax office. It sounds really, really obvious, but as we always say, if it is there, there's a reason behind it. So we must help the public entities to reinforce themselves and help all the society to become global, become international, and obviously become prime force. So this is one of the key points, the student startup. This is one of the key points that Yuka was telling you. On 2013 and 2016, there was a small covering on a minor law which was drafted and passed. It was almost not explained. If you can remember at the very beginning, I talked to you about bringing together and making small frontiers from between the work market and the academic or environment. So this is the idea that the Spanish government has come with. It is still to be developed. It needs still to get draft and passed. It is under public debate for all the society to answer and to say if we want this idea to improve. The most important thing is it's going to be 1 year lifetime, and I found really interesting the point that the fact that they would need for people who are new to the labor market, they need an insurance cover. When they almost don't know how to start working, they need a protection for them. And we are indirectly telling them that their actions will have lots of reactions, and we are giving them trust. We are trying to create successful entrepreneurs and successful people during all this lifetime. Finally, one thing I'd like to speak about is that despite we can create different types of companies, as you would know, the public limited company, limited liability companies. One interesting thing is that this law is trying to minimize all that is needed in order to create a company. It is provides a reduction for all the companies to get created, to born, and it now allows us to create a company in exactly 5 days. 5 days is 1 week. 1 week we can have our company working and working globally. It would really lower both for these limited liability companies and on the other company forms, which are ideally to be created, but in most of the cases, there will be limited liability companies, and they have lots of reductions on tax payment, which are the most important one are the company income tax and the personal income tax here in Spain, which are the biggest and main tax contribution. And I wanted to highlight the last point, which is this law is working closely with the company law, and this company law established that when you have less than your share quantity, when you create this, if an economic year makes your share to be reduced under the 50%, then you should dissolve the company. And as I said at the beginning, since these startups are so high risk, high reward working, it involves a guard against this point for 3 years. 3 years could be the difference between their early stage to their expansion stage, having passed through all the seed, the early growth, and be almost close to be sold, to end its idea. So 3 years is gonna be enormous. It's gonna be huge for them. And I feel this could make that all the points we're trying to accomplish and to develop all our economic market, this could help a lot. So I guess I finished with what I could explain you about all these law, and as Yuka said, any question you have, I try to help you with this idea.
Thank you very much. Avicii, do you have any question?
Yeah. Hi, this is Abhijit. I am from India, Bangalore. I'm founder of Percent Pulse, and the company started companies focused as creating digital solutions and digital applications. So I have a question regarding the startup laws. If I want to know if they're an investor in Spain, so what is the possibility for investor based in Spain to invest in my company? Because I'm outside of Spain. That is one thing. And what are the laws if I want to register my company in Spain? 2 areas, if you can share, that would be really great.
Yeah, I try to be as fast as possible in order to explain this. First of all, to be honest, the idea of a Spanish investor investing in your company there in India would be under the regulations working in India. It doesn't affect this point the Spanish regulation. It would come into hand the international laws that might be applied. But at this point, the Spanish regulation, I think there's nothing that would come into hand. And on the other point, asking about how to establish here a company and which are the laws regarding this operation, I really highlight two, or in this case, if we're talking about a startup company, 3 laws. It would be the startup law that we've just covered. It would be the Spanish company law, which actually in Spanish would be Ley de Sociedades de Capital, or Capital Companies Law. That could be the most direct translation. And finally, as one of the key requirements regarding the creation of a company, it is the public registration. The public registry law would be the last one I say you need to cover and be working with. Afterwards, there are the tax laws and some more laws regarding the common ruling of a company here in Spain. But if you want, Abhijit, I'll share with you all my contact details, and we can speak about this and work in order to help you.
Great, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yeah, so the next speaker is Stephen.
Yeah.
Yeah, hello.
Hello. Thank you, Yuka, Rafael, Doug, and Cesar for organising this and the opportunity to speak. Someone let me know if I go on rambling, because I'm not 100% sure what I'm saying. Yeah, I think the 2 previous speakers, Yuka and Rafael, have been quite thorough in terms of the law, so I'm going to take a more sort of subjective approach. So a bit of background about myself. So as you can hear, I'm not Spanish. I'm from the UK, from London. I work for a company called Reesmarks. We are global expansion talent acquisition specialists, based half in London, half in North Carolina, USA. But we work with global clients that are looking to place talent either from first boots on the ground, or say just really pretty much most countries in the world is where we've worked and where we are working currently. So for myself, I'm from South London, but I studied languages at university. I've lived in Latin America and Brazil. And when I was working in the London office, I just had this hunger to leave. And also the UK is a little bit difficult to live in now with rising costs, as most places are, to be honest. And yeah, the shining lights of Iberia were what attracted me. I'd already lived in a Portuguese speaking country, and so thought, why not Spain for a personal level, but also with how the world is moving and looking now, especially in Europe, the big hotspots for business were previously the UK, France, Germany, Italy, and now we're starting to see a real growth and curiosity, mainly about doing business in the APAC region, LATAM, and in Southern Europe. So Spain's actually proving to be, objectively, lived here for 8 months, absolutely love Madrid, starting to travel and see more of the country as well. And there's a really vibrant startup, not only mentality, but approach to the country. So some of the big startups that are, you know, international ones like Glovo, Spotahome, Packlink, all have Spanish origins and are now looking internationally and outwards. And not only that, but we're getting a lot of curiosity and interest from, say, German headquartered companies, Dutch headquartered companies, UK headquartered companies that are looking to expand their Mediterranean influence, and also as an additional plus point, use Spain as a bridge to move into other Spanish speaking territories like South and Central America. So in those senses, it's been quite a busy time working and establishing roots here in Spain, for myself and for us, and I'm not going to complain at all, living in a country which is on average much warmer and has a lot more sunshine than where I'm used to living. So yeah, I'm not too sure what else I can add on a personal level, but I'm happy to take questions, as I notice a lot of people here
Stephen,
really live in
maybe
Spain.
could you just explain how Reesmarks helps companies expand and in the region? That would be helpful.
Yeah, of course. So we actually have been members of Global Chamber for just over 2 years now, 3 years probably. How time flies. But the reason we stay a member of this community is because we work with entrepreneurs, we work with companies, SMEs and startups, fast-growing companies that essentially are looking to put their first people on the ground. So in the specific case of Spain, using Spain or Portugal as an example, we would be typically speaking with companies right at the start of the process when they're looking at and planning. So they would go, I don't know where I'm going to go, but I want to go somewhere which has X, Y, Z. And we'll go, okay, so potentially these regions could appeal most to you. Right up to the end of a process where we're talking to companies which are saying, well, we definitely want to go to Barcelona. And we go, okay, and why is that? Well, we just have X, Y, Z reasons. Okay, great. So what types of profiles are you looking for? And I think the best way to describe what we do is translating the business culture. As I think a classic example, and actually our origins come from working with American companies that wanted to hire in the UK. Now, even though we're both English-speaking nations, we're not exactly the same business styles. And so often there would be a little bit mistranslation, a little bit of misunderstanding. And so we put local people in place to really make sure that these transitions and these processes are as seamless and as easy as possible. And it really ties in well, I feel, with the other members of Global Chamber that offer complementary services. So the consultancy services, the payroll services, the hiring services. And yeah, I'm just thankful to be part of a global community where such exciting and new things happen so regularly, and really proud to be a part of this new inaugural Spain and Portugal meetup as well.
Outstanding, Subarashi. Yuka-san, skoshi hanasu no wa ii desu ka?
Hai, dozo.
Chotto sumimasen.
Hai.
In terms of your goals, Yuka, for this meeting, I think there's a few more people that we want to speak with, and that might mean that we go over the time.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you, or what are your timing goals here today?
I have time, so maybe if anybody needs to go and would like to speak up, maybe we can make priorities for these people.
Okay, I'd like to make some suggestions on that. So I think one of the things that Stephen mentions about the tribe, the global tribe, is the professionalism and the capability and the ease of working with people within the Global Chamber has kept many of us sane through the years of COVID and through these past years. People like Yuka, who is just such a solid citizen, someone to count on in so many ways, is a great example of the global tribe. There are people in the world that we have not asked to come back to Global Chamber because they, for whatever reason, might not have the capability on the global scale or are just too much work. I think all of us know those people, right? And so we are direct and transparent and ethical and honest. And I admire all of you members who are here. And I encourage all of you not yet members to consider applying to Global Chamber to be part of this special community. One of the people here in this room that is a special person is Izzy Heiken, who I happen to have had the pleasure to meet personally. Someday, Yuka, I hope to meet you personally as well in person. I think 2024 is my goal to be in Barcelona. But Izzy Heiken, I met. He's a person who spent a lot of time in Israel. He and Mayrav, who has been his business partner, I met where our headquarters was at Skysong in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I remember him saying, oh, I love all these places in the world, but I love Scottsdale and I never want to move. And then COVID happened and he moved and now he's in Portugal. So I would love to hear his perspective on why Portugal, and maybe he has some idea of Portugal versus Spain as well. Izzy, do you have a moment that you could share? And congratulations on your journey.
Hi guys. So no, this is not Izzy's voice. This is May.
Oh, May. Hi. How are you?
Let me see. Hi.
Are you driving with him? Oh my God.
So first of all, we never wanted to leave Arizona, especially Scottsdale. COVID made us move, and then life happened. But I think for us, it's amazing. I mean, we are from Israel. We lived in Scottsdale for almost 3 years, and now in Portugal. And the common denominator is that we have the Global Chamber with us throughout the journey of whether it's our personal journey or business journey. We have 2 companies that deal with trade connections and relocations and real estate investment. And it has been amazing to see how our involvement in the chamber has actually evolved our businesses and the connections. And the minute, the minute Doug realized that we moved to Portugal, we didn't have had to say anything. He just realized that we're in Portugal, and before we even signed to the chapter and anything, he's like, okay, I have these people you guys have to meet. And within probably, I'd say 2 weeks, we've met with 4 people from the Portuguese chapter, which was amazing. So I think for anybody who is not a member yet, what I can definitely say is that the Global Chamber is not just another place where you just do networking. It is seriously a place that connects people in the goal of having and cultivating relationship and business relationships and growing your business. And if you are looking to grow your business, whether it's in Spain or Madrid or Portugal or the Middle East, and you're looking to, give something and get something, not just, just sit there. This is like the best place. This is actually the only organization that we stayed members for so long. I mean, we've been members, I think, for maybe 4 or 5 years. And it's the only place for us. We've tried other places. the networking, the business networking here is great. And as you see, we move around and Global Chamber moves around with us.
You're amazing. And the people who took your area and SkySong also became members. He spoke, Thomas Park, on Friday of Redium, and they're still continuing to move there. Before we come to the rest of the hour, first of all, thank you for your very kind words, and it's great to see both of you happy and healthy. You both look amazing. So looking forward to catching up. I want to make sure we have a chance to talk to René van Baardewijk, who may be one of the people that you guys have spoken with. René, you've been instrumental in putting this event together. You're in Barcelona, you're a Thunderbird graduate, you're an extraordinary leader within the region, and you've helped us grow even in Africa, not just in Europe. René, are you available to say a few words?
Yes, hi there, Doc. Yes, I'm not prepared, but I'm always happy to talk about one of the topics. Obviously, Barcelona has been my home for the last 23 years. You can probably see from my last name, I'm originally a Dutchman, but I left Holland when I was 19, and I've been all over the world, including the United States, studying at Thunderbird. But my last stint before coming to Spain was in New Zealand, the other side of the world. So I have seen a lot of places in the world. And well, after 23 years, I can say Spain is my home. Definitely. My kids have grown up here, and for them, this is what they know and what they live.
And your kids include a daughter who's a music star as well. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you.
She's a YouTube sensation.
Thank you. Definitely, she's definitely trying to become the new Rihanna or any of those favorites. Would be nice. But until then, yeah, no, just seriously. Obviously, depending on where you're from, the Spanish business climate is a little bit different. I mean, nowadays Europe, of course, is becoming more and more united with all its ups and downs. But I do see that, especially the coastal area, of course, a lot of people, especially from Northern Europe, feel at home. The COVID also made sure that a lot of people that are able to work from home or are not bound to be at an office, or not most of the time, more and more are deciding to come down south, not only for the climate, but also I think nowadays it's very, very comfortable, whereas maybe 20 30 years ago it was still definitely very different to adapt. Nowadays it's become very very easy to find a place at home. I see many of the members here who are based in Spain, but also in Portugal, are offering services, relocation services to set up businesses in Spain and Portugal. So nowadays there's a lot of these type of companies around, which weren't around 25 years ago. And yeah, so I see that Spain, and also especially the last couple of years, Portugal is becoming a home for a lot of people, be it business-wise, be it retirement-wise, be it for quality of life reasons, have come to to call this place home, and which has really caused this place, especially here in Barcelona or the major cities, to become very cosmopolitan places where most people can feel at home. So, and anyone who hasn't been here yet, I would love to invite and come over and see for yourself. And I think within this group, there's a lot of people that are able to help you out and advise. I see on the comment or the chat session also a lot of presentations of companies that are offering their services. So, well, I think I have sent my e-card as well. And if you have any more questions, my main business is in chemical trading and distribution. But I also have a company that offers tourist rental services. So if any of those things are something that you're looking for or interested in, then please don't hesitate to contact me. Thanks a lot.
Fantastic. You also have the Barcelona think tank, where you have a group around the world that gets together and thinks about high-level issues around investing around the world. So if you're one of those high roller investor folks and think strategically, get a hold of René as well. I'd like to just make a couple shout outs to some folks and then turn it back to you, Yuka, and to Cesar to make some comments as well. First of all, Terry Cotton, you know, in your business there and your deputy directorship in Global Chamber, Texas. Thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate it. And going back to Stephen Earls, of course, the Reesmarks team is one of the best and most capable teams we work with at Global Chamber. We just love Erica Hart. She's extraordinary in terms of how easy she is to work with for many, many years. I see Ruby Golo is on the call as well with Global Trade Consult. Any thing in West Africa and in particular Ghana that you have going, definitely contact Ruby and she'll be able to help. And happy to have you say a few words as well, Ruby, if you'd like. Mark Pollitt is a premier photographer in the region. He's actually happens to be based in the UK, but he does photography all over the world. So Mark, thank you for your membership and your support, and really appreciate you joining the call today. Alessandra Barbosa is our global advisor in Cabo Verde. And so Alessandra, thank you for recently the emails that you've been sending about some of the work that you're doing in the tourism segment. And I think, has anybody been to Cabo Verde as a tourist? If not, you should consider contacting Alessandra, because she has all of the ways that you can do that quite successfully. So I see Cesar and oh, did Yuka disappear? What happened to Yuka? I don't see Yuka right now. So let me bring it back to Cesar, and she may have dropped out for a second.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Sorry, I missed you.
It's okay.
Cesar, is there anything that we missed or anything that you'd like to add to the conversation before we turn it back to Yuka and anybody else that has some comments?
No, I just want to thank everyone. Just to make sure that everyone understands this is to be a recurring event. So we plan to have it probably quarterly to make sure we combine and we put together our people in the region. And so if any of you are interested to speak or have to give a presentation next time, feel free to reach out. Let me see if I see someone. Just to mention Jose Pajares, who is our official executive director for Madrid. I see him in the line. And also to mention about Mark Pollitt, member in London. Thanks for joining. And Catherine Cronin in New York. Also, thank you for joining. And yeah, Yuka, it's all yours. And again, thanks everyone for being here today.
Yeah, thank you very much for everybody for coming. And yes, this is top of the hour, right? So maybe if you does anybody have anything to say? Otherwise, let's open to the next session that we'd like to hear from you. Maybe you can send me or send Doug or Cesar or anybody, René, or anybody, send a message about when and how maybe Zoom, what you like to do, present or chat or anything that you'd like. Maybe we can do this again very soon, right? So
that sounds good. Does anybody have any final comments before we close the room? Anything you'd like to add? Stephen, any final comments from you, please?
Well, as I slyly put in the chat, I realized the whole spiel that I wanted to actually say, and then I just completely got stunned by nerves and didn't. So yeah, I'll just repeat a short summary and say, yeah, it was a real pleasure to speak. And I've connected with most of you on this call on LinkedIn. I'll try and seek you out if I haven't, and I'll write a post just so I don't extend this meeting any longer. But thanks for the opportunity, everyone, for letting me speak. And yeah, a pleasure to be part of
Thank
Global
you.
Chamber as always.
Sounds
you.
good. And Catherine Power, I didn't recognize your name in the chat, so thank you for joining from New Jersey, right? You're in the New York metropolitan area from my hometown. So thank you for joining. Anything that you or anybody else have to say before Yuka ends the room?
Rafael, do you have anything to say? I just want to thank you, Doug, Cesar, for your support and having us here. Rafael, would you like to speak?
Yeah.
Rafael, thank you for your conversation today.
Thank you.
Really good information.
Thank you very much. As Yuka said, and I'd like to thank both Yuka and Stephen for having this time with me. We all against all these people, and very much I'd like to thank you, both Doug and Cesar, and moreover René, for supporting us
René, thank
from
you.
Global Chamber and giving us this opportunity, and obviously from Madrid, both the capitals here, the biggest metros, both Barcelona and Madrid. I hope we can develop a great work team.
Yeah.
So really, thank you very much.
Congratulations on a first step, and Yuka, you get the most kudos for pulling all of this together. You've been talking about this for a few months, and so thank you for your leadership to pull it together. In 45 minutes, we have our next Globinar. It's about global education. And I think one of the things that Cesar and I are discovering as we write our book called Global is Good is that education often doesn't teach globalness in the way that we know globalness, which is, finding the connecting that you need to do, the cross-cultural aspects to it, in fact, probably many of the things that all of us can't live without is hard to find in normal education. But we have Thunderbird School of Global Management speaking in 45 minutes about their 1 million learners initiative, 100 million learners initiative, an historic effort to teach people and young people and women all around the world about trade and business. And it's a historic initiative that Cham Nam Lim will be speaking about. She herself is a Cambodian refugee who landed in Phoenix, Arizona, of all places, and now she's working at Thunderbird. And throughout the week, we have a variety of other activities, including our Middle East, North Africa event on Thursday. Tune in because we have our leaders in Morocco, UAE, and in Lebanon, and in Jordan, and in many other countries across the region, Saudi Arabia as well, and then North Africa. We're talking about opportunities. And so this is an example of kind of a normal Globinar, this one on Thursday, where we have leaders in different parts of the world talk about certainly challenges, but also mainly opportunities. If we're business entrepreneurs, where should we be going next? Who are the people we need to know? And all of the speakers on Thursday, similar today, are people you need to know. So thank you, Yuka. Back to you to close the room. Arigatou gozaimashita. Dozo yoroshiku onegaishimasu.
Thank you very, very much, everybody, and see you next time. Please be in touch.
Thank you, Yuka. That was awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Arigato.
Even Kat is an arigato. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.